Planning Panel, time being 2 minutes after 1 p.m. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the various lands we occupy, the Aboriginal people, their spirits and ancestors. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. The meeting today is to consider the determination of one development application. Panel members for this matter are myself, Lindsay Fletcher, as the independent chair, Helen Lockheed and Oliver Klein as the independent expert members, and community member Mio Margaret Chow. The meeting is being held by public video conference due to the COVID-19 precautions. And as the panel chair, I'm requesting that you be considerate and respectful of each other and remain on mute until I ask you to speak. I also request that you don't interject whilst another person is speaking. The panel operates in terms of a code of conduct and operating guidelines, which have been modified to facilitate effective functioning of the panel during the COVID period. Details of that are available on the Council's website. This public meeting will be recorded and will be placed on the Council's website. If that's of concern to you on privacy grounds, then I suggest that you take it into consideration in your decision to make a public statement before the panel today. In terms of the code, general declarations of interest have been provided before the meeting by all panel members, as well as specific declaration of interest in relation to the matters we are considering today. I can confirm that all declarations of interest have been received and no members of the panel have declared a conflict of interest on any item for determination at this meeting or the electronic meeting that follows later today. Those signed declarations will be available to view through the Council's website by tomorrow afternoon. I might, just for the record, get the panel members to confirm they have no conflict of interest. No conflict. And nor do I, so thank you. I wish to advise the two members of the public addressing the panel today that they must declare prior to commencing any political contributions or donations exceeding $1,000 made over the past 2 years to any political party or candidate who contested the last ordinary election of the Council. Our usual practice is to allow each speaker 3 minutes to present, and similarly the applicant if they're presenting. If you've registered to speak, your address to the panel will, as I said earlier, be recorded. You'll be given a sound warning 30 seconds or so before your time limit. I do have a limited discretion to allow extra time if required. We will hear first, the normal practice is we hear first from councillors, but no councillors have registered to speak, followed by members of the public and then from the applicant. In this case, the applicant is not registered to speak. The panel been provided with a copy of all the submissions received in response to the public exhibition of this application. We've also been out to inspect the site this morning and the locality. Given that we've got copies of all submissions, there's no need for speakers to repeat any points that they've made in those submissions. I ask that each speaker be heard in silence while they're addressing the panel and that courtesy and respect be observed throughout the meeting. There's to be no personal criticism directed at any speaker or council staff, as that will be contrary to the panel's code of conduct and won't be accepted. Panel members may ask questions of the speakers to clarify our understanding of the matter. And after hearing from all speakers, the panel will adjourn and debate the matter and make its determination. If more information is required by the panel, the decision may be to defer the application for either a further public meeting or to be dealt with at an electronic meeting. Panel decisions and recording will be made available on the Council website as soon as we can, usually the following day. There is to be no recording of this meeting other than the official recording. So moving to the one item that we have before us for this public meeting, that's development application 433 of 2022 for 116 to 118 Marine Parade, Maroubra. The assessment report recommends that the panel refuse the application and notes that the matter is already the subject of an appeal to the Land and Environment Court. Today we have two people registered to address the panel, and as I said, both neighbours objecting to the proposal. There's nobody has registered to speak on behalf of the applicant. I now invite our first speaker to present, and again, before you do so, please say your name for the benefit of the recording and indicate whether or not you have made any relevant political donations. So Mr. Alan Spees, we have you down as the first speaker. Please proceed. You are on mute at the moment, so as I requested, so thank you for that, but you can turn it on.
Thank you very much. My name is Alan Spees and I've made no political donations. Thank you very much. I apologise for the nature of the graphics. It was quite a rush to get together all of this. We weren't sure if this meeting was going ahead or not. We'll try not to repeat what we have already submitted, but we did want to speak just to show the importance of what we're saying. We're not just setting things off. This is a very strong, important matter to us, and we feel very emotional about the whole business. Thank you very much. Let's pop the camera down here. Please tell me if that's not suitable there.
That's clear, thank you.
Thank you. Also apologise, I think I cannot unmirror the image, so all of these are reversed, which might be a bit strange. Thank you very much. Just to start off, I just want to talk about the normal streetscape and how this building is very obtrusive and out of character with the area. And just to say how it affects us, we are just behind we are in these two semis just here. Yes. Behind the said property. One thing about Marine Parade, where the building is, the proposal is the lovely streetscape which people in this area love and admire. It's part of Maroubra, different from Bondi and other places. And this, for example, this is the sort of thing that we have. We have smaller blocks, gaps between, people can see through. It's not too monolithic. This is taken other end of Marine Parade. There's a few problems in this location because the nature of the rocky cliff that people have built their houses on. But still, this is the character that I think people love and would want around here. In contrast, the proposal, very monolithic, even compared to the Grumpy Baker building, just on the corner, it's towering over it. I know it's on a higher reduced level footing, but still, it just gives an idea of the large scale of this building. And this is the, by the way, just a proposal which was not back, but it's the same envelope as the existing Grumpy building. Now, as our location, where we are, Poppy and myself, we're in these two semis. I've included this to give an idea of, first of all, the background, and although we haven't got a direct view of the sea because of trees that have grown behind in the properties on Marine Parade, we still have this openness that was there. If you could take a note of this building here and the height,
yes,
because this next picture shows accurately that was the same building. This is the proposal compared to that building. So it's quite a bit higher. So looking back at this building again, you can just, I haven't calculated it, but you can imagine a building that's higher than that behind here would be quite obtrusive. One of the drawings that was provided with the documents, again, shows some of the monolithic nature. In particular, in this one, our properties are just these two properties here. I'm sorry because I can't see properly. I'll just check that. Yes, these two just here.
Yes.
Our backyards, very monolithic, big balconies, no breakup. It's just totally overlooking us. And it's not just the overlooking. Well, first, talk about the overlooking. We both love our gardens. I love my garden. I live in it. my house is long and narrow, being a semi. I don't get direct sunlight. The only direct sunlight I get is in the garden and in the back window. Okay, I had some sun diagrams somewhere, but I'm sorry, I just leave them alone now. But this is a perspective of our gardens, just here with the overlooking. This is an accurately drawn perspective using architectural software, correct RLs, etc. on it. You can see the amount of overlooking on that. Now, I'd like to point out that in the applicant's documents, as far as I could see, they only talked about the winter sun in June, when the sun is actually swinging round and not being blocked. But in other months, the sun is actually rising behind this building. And if I could show, okay, well, I'll let you show that, Poppy. Yeah, Poppy has some pictures of the sun location coming up, which is blocked quite a lot by the building.
Okay, you're approaching your 3 minutes. So
okie
a
dokie.
few more minutes.
Thank you very much. Well, I'll be not much more to go. This is another calculation, 26 degrees from standing at the back door. So 26 degrees is quite a bit, if you can imagine the psychological intrusion of this building. A photograph from the back window. All of this will be lost to the building. There'll be a big building right across that without any view of the sky. As I said, I don't get any sky view anywhere in my house except for this back room, because my south-facing windows looking onto the adjoining block of flats. I'll just go on to Poppy. I'll hand over to Poppy in a second. I'll just put in this picture here, and I think I'll leave it to you, Poppy. You right?
Oh, no.
No? All right, thank you very much. May I hand over to Poppy now? Thank you.
Yes, if you're happy, the panel members may have questions, but we might hear from Poppy and then do them together.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so my name is Poppy Gerakios, and I have I have never made any donations to any political party, ever. Okay, so what the picture that Alan's showing here, okay, we recently, a couple of years ago, had a DA approved. We opened up the inside of the back section of the house, and we've got bifold doors spanning from one wall to the other, which gives us a view. This is taken from my back door, the back door that currently is. This line, this black line here, shows, according to, I mean, it might not be 100% accurate, but it's pretty accurate. This is the block, the proposal. So pretty much all I will see from my back door and will be a blob. Sorry, I'm not going to put it very eloquently, but it's going to be a blob. Now, let me just allude to this. I didn't actually expect, well, I lost it. This.
It'd be hard without us having feedback from
can you see my phone?
I'll try and.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a photo.
It was better where it was.
It was better where it was.
Okay.
So that's a photo of the morning sun. I can't remember when it was taken, but the palm tree is right there in the corner. You can just see it. So basically the sun rises. I think this was a...
Well, the palm, if I could come in, the palm tree is actually in the proposed location of the building, within 1 metre of that palm tree.
Yeah, so it's totally blocked, the morning sun. Now, if I could bore you all, I would go through my phone and show you every morning sunrise photo that I have, because this is something that is really important to me. It's always been really important to me. So what I'm going to say today is very much sort of emotional language. It has stressed me. I can't tell you how much stress this has caused me and my family, because if this proposal goes ahead, then our quality of life is pretty much, it goes from, 100 to 0 in no time flat. I know you've read all our submissions, and I know that you know what the objections are. So I'm just going to talk to how this personally affects me and my family, and I expect many others who are affected. But like I said, I am a morning person. Most of my photos come around 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. It's just something that I've done my whole life because I've grown up in this house. And now that we've opened up the house, the sun comes streaming in the morning, and that's why I wanted to open up the house. And if you can imagine the doors that go all the way across facing this thing, I won't be getting the morning sun at all, and it causes me a huge amount of distress. And I will say something, and you may think, oh yeah, right, as unlikely as it may sound, with the COVID lockdowns, and I was working from home, I was sitting at the dining table, which is just inside the door where that photo was taken. And I worked in Parramatta for 20 years, and I've got many other photos along the beachscape. As I was driving to work, I'd stop and take photos of the sunrise. It actually contributed to my decision to stop working, because I thought, I know I want to enjoy my home. I've grown up here. While I was at school, fine, I was at home most of the time. I enjoyed it. But then when I started my working life, I never saw the house other than weekends. So anyway, it actually did contribute to my decision to stop working. To me, the sky is more valuable, well, pretty much than anything. And I resent that the developers can consider the view and the outlook and the aspect and whatever other word you want to use for the new residents, but they completely disregard the people that have lived with this their whole life. It's like, we just don't matter. And I'm not selling my house anytime soon. I have been bombarded by developers for at least 20 years. And before that, my parents, before they passed on. Not interested in selling. I want to live here my whole life. And my son has expressed his interest in keeping the house because, look where we live, Mum. Look at this. And he goes out and he looks outside and he just shows the sky. It's priceless. So I resent that, it could just be taken away from us for, dare I say it, developer greed. And I know the area is a R3, blah, 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 but I insist that there are other avenues available to them. Going on to my love of the outdoors, I used to sit out in the backyard.
We're approaching your sort of 3-minute limit, so I'd ask you to perhaps quickly cover what else you had to say.
Okay, so basically the backyard is sacrosanct. We do most of our entertaining there. We use it all the time. We'll feel like we're in a goldfish bowl if we've got this thing staring down at us. And even so, the visual bolt it's unacceptable. Even if they come up with all sorts of ways of giving us privacy, planting massive trees, privacy screens, moving all the tiny windows to the back, it's still, it's claustrophobic. It's like this huge thing bearing down at you, and it just causes a lot of stress and anxiety, and I just don't think it should go on. And the fact of the matter is, it just does not fit into its surrounding streetscape in any way, shape or form. The houses next to it are small, they're single level. If a development was to go ahead, those blocks are pretty much small. They wouldn't be able to get away with something like this. This to me is taking advantage of the size and the...
Can I add something, Poppy? Is that
Yes,
possible?
please.
I mean, and also, I've got no intention to sell. I certainly will not. But if anyone wanted to put units in this location, they'd be looking straight into the back of this thing, which would devalue any property in this location an awful lot.
Devaluing apparently is not.
And I also love my garden. I do yoga out there. I meditate in there. I just live out there myself as well, partly because my house is, let's say, quite dark.
Yeah, so the final thing that I would say is that we were actually contemplating putting in a DA for a second level onto our house, and that just sort of got shut down, because if this thing goes ahead, what's the point? We will just be looking into somebody, you know, higher up into somebody's, that blob, that monstrosity. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Appreciate, you know, the time.
Thank you both. So can I just ask panel members whether any panel members have any questions of Mr. Spears or Ms. Marcos?
I have a question. Do you have concerns about the change in ground level adjacent to your property, or the setback from your property line? You talked about the height.
Absolutely.
It's very close. So I think it's minimum 6 meters. And,
it's at the minimum. Everything is
yeah.
at the minimum.
And that 26 degrees from my back door, I mean, as you get closer, go to the garden, it gets higher and higher. It's like this. And excavation doesn't bother me, and if it was done in a way that didn't damage my building. But yes, it's very, very close.
It's too
intrusive. And,
it's intrusive, and that's it's too high. It's too close on all sides, on all four. Even the street. Even if you look at it from the street, some of the pictures that were provided, sure, you know, they show the new building and it looks so wow, and you know, it might be an attractive proposition, but when you notice what's next to it and surrounding it, it just is so out of character with everything. It would never fit in, even if you'd have to demolish the whole block basically.
Could I also add that I'm I was for many years an architect with the state government, and also with 2 degrees and second-class honours. I just want to say that, not that you need to be that to appreciate that the building doesn't fit, but if that helps too, yeah. Yes. It might fit on the Gold Coast, but this is not.
You took the words right out of
my mouth. This is not the Gold Coast. Thank you.
We as the panel obviously have to assess it against the guidelines that apply, which are both state and local, and the report, which I hope you've had the opportunity to read, goes through that in some detail, points out some areas of non-compliance, etc. Okay, so panel members, do you have any questions for council officers arising from what you've heard there? I think the answer is no. So we've now heard from all of the registered speakers. As I said before, there's nobody registered to speak on behalf of the applicant, so we've heard from everybody. I thank you both for your assistance. In accordance with the panel guidelines, the public meeting will now be closed, and the panel will move to a closed meeting to deliberate on this matter, and we have a number of other matters for electronic determination. The outcome from voting and determination will be made available through the council's website, either late tonight or tomorrow, and a recording of the public meeting will also be available. I also thank council staff for their assistance with the meeting today, but now declare the meeting closed, the time being 1:25. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.